Yes, we were asking Luke about how much you guys would, I guess, put the video in the text messages and sort of kept showing it to him. Kind of how much chatter have you guys had towards him about the shot he made? And it sounds like he's trying not to focus on it too much.
Yeah, I mean, he's big time now. I felt like we need some security around campus. But I mean, we make fun of him all the time. That's just what we do. But deep down, we're all extremely happy and proud of him. I mean, it's nothing that we're surprised of. But I mean, we're all extremely happy for him.
How much are you guys asking Joel how he's doing? Like just constantly, hey, do you need anything? How you feeling?
I think Doug has that taken care of. I think Doug is on Joel's hip 24/7. But I mean, we know at the end of the day, Joel's a competitor. He's going to do whatever he needs to do to try to get back. He's been doing a bunch of stuff with Doug to try to get it better, and I think he's taking pretty good steps forward.
Having just been to a Final Four, what will you do differently this time in terms of how you prepare, how do you approach it, having the benefit of that experience?
I mean, I think we'll approach it the same exact way. I mean, the Final Four was the most fun all of us have ever had in basketball. And so for us, we're going to go and we're getting there a day earlier this time, so we're going to go and enjoy the experience. And then Saturday, it's all business. But up until that point, and all the times around, I mean, we're going to just enjoy it. You don't get many times to get to one Final Four, let alone two. And for that, we're just going to go in there and enjoy the experience. But we know that we still have a dream and a goal that we're trying to accomplish.
Justin, it's been said that this team is a lot closer and that you guys are having a lot more fun. What's the difference in that aspect from last year?
I mean, I would say we were close last year too. But I mean, it's also, except for the freshmen, everybody, we've all been through basically everything you can go through as a team. If Bryce and Marcus and Joel and everybody that graduated last year, if they were still on the team, I think we'd be as close as we are now as well. But we just enjoy each other's company. Last night we all, a couple of us got together and just went to dinner. Little things like that. We just love to be around each other. I mean, obviously we like having breaks from each other as well, but when we're around each other, I mean, we have the best time that we can possibly have.
What are you listening to right now on your way to Arizona?
Trip Lee, Lecrae, Andy Mineo. Drake just came out with a new album. I guess you could say I'm a fan of his, but I don't listen to a ton of his music, so maybe one or two of his songs. But those first couple guys are the main ones.
Apparently Theo thinks March Madness is old. I play it March 1st every year. So.
Yeah, well, he can't really talk because he plays that song nonstop, so I don't know how he's gonna call you out on that. And he listens to it all the time, but we'll let him deal with that between you and him.
Justin, congrats on the honor of All-American. How have you grown as a player in the year, and what did you learn, kind of going off of the experience, what did you learn from the Final Four last year that you could apply to this trip?
How have I grown? I think leadership-wise, I've gotten a little bit better. Coming into this year, I knew obviously I had to be better as far as individual production goes, but I knew I also had to do a better job of kind of being that leader more than, a guy that, is being led. And so I've tried to do a better job at that, and I think honestly the Final Four, that run and everything kind of helped me with that. Seeing Marcus and Bryce, how they continue to lead us. I think that was a great example for me, Joel, Kennedy, everybody else that's considered leaders on this team, and that's kind of what I've tried to do.
You take us on the bus and on the plane, you look out, you see the fans, you talk about a business atmosphere. How do you keep it calm though? How do you make it so that you're able to enjoy yourselves?
I don't think this team has a problem enjoying ourselves. You could say we need to look at a wall for 24 hours and we're still going to somehow laugh. So, for us, it's, we just love each other. No matter what, we're always gonna have a good time. And, obviously, like I said before, Saturday, that's all business. But the time before that and the time around that, you don't get many opportunities. I mean, there's 300-something teams that are sitting at home that don't get to experience what we're about to experience. So for us, we're just gonna go in there and have as much fun as possible. And then once the game comes around, then get ready for that.
You guys have spoken ad nauseum this year at several different points about how last year was a motivating factor to get back. Let's just say alternate universe. Last year doesn't go down the way it does. Are you guys back here right now in the Final Four?
That's hard to say. Because recruiting could have gone differently. A bunch of little things could have gone differently. Guys could have left last year. I don't think you can possibly compare that. But I think last year, everybody coming back, I think they used that as motivation. And I think we wanted to get back to where we are now. And so you could say that maybe not, but that's also hard because there's a lot of details and little things that go into that.
You guys are closer with a lot of the older teams, especially you told me you were close to David Noel. How helpful is it to have someone like Sean May on your bench who's been there before, who knows what it's like to win, to not only encourage you, but to give you little pointers on how to keep you guys focused in this game?
It's huge. Sean's been a big aspect. Obviously he's not considered a coach, so he can't do certain things, but little times whenever he'll say something to us, like at halftime, whenever he comes into the locker room, and he might say something to me, he might say something to Kennedy, just to try to help us, and then just being around him, his stories and everything like that, that can help, and he's definitely done a great job of helping us grow on and off the court.
How do you think this group, why do you think this group has been successful in not letting the academic thing that's been sort of hanging around the school for multiple years become some kind of distraction for you guys or affect you in some way on the court?
For us, we weren't a part of it, and so, it's obviously the school is having to deal with it, but I don't see how you can feel guilty and act differently if you weren't a part of something that's being said about it. And so for us, we honestly, I'll be honest, that was the first time I even thought about it just now from you asking the question. And I don't think many other guys really think about it much. And so for us, we just try to focus on ourselves, try to focus on basketball, and then obviously our schoolwork. But away from that, we just try to focus on ourselves.
Justin, how often, if at all, does Coach talk about how last season ended? I know he did it last year in the locker room with y'all, talking about use this as fuel, this and that, but has it come up throughout the year from him?
Yeah, he hasn't said much about it. He always says that we have a team good enough to win it, but he never really mentions anything about, the run, other than the defensive part of it. He brings in the fact that we really locked down defensively down the stretch last year. But other than that, he doesn't talk much about that run except for that.
How close do you think you guys are to reaching that defensive level, or have you?
I think we still have some things we can do better, but I think Butler and Kentucky, those are probably two of our best defensive games. And at the end of the day, why not be your best at the end? And so for us, we still have some things we have to do better at, but I think we're at a good point right now, and I think if we can continue to try to get better in these next couple of days, I think we'll be all right.
Is there a certain thing you think you guys are doing better defensively as a whole now, maybe even than a month or two ago?
I think, honestly, last game, our rotations were great. Our bigs were extremely active, especially Kennedy. And so when we have rotations like that, kind of covering up for maybe the mistakes that your teammate had on defense, that makes us that much better of a defensive team. And I think we also stayed in front of the ball decently. I think we're getting better at that. So if we can continue to improve in that area, then I think we'll be all right.
Justin, even absent the shot, Luke's been very successful as a stretch forward the past 2 games. How does having him there kind of open up the offense?
I mean, it's huge for, for him. When he sets a screen, most of the time they're hedging longer. And so whenever he pops, it's harder for them to find him. So that's huge. And then outside of that, because he's a stretch 4, there's much more room inside for the guards to drive. And so, that adds a different aspect of our game when, whenever it's Kennedy and Isaiah, they do a good job of moving, but it's just not the same. And so when he's in there, I think that really helps us.
Since Joel's dealing with his injury, what does he bring to the court when he's fully healthy? And how does it help you guys to have him on the court at all times?
I mean, in our opinion, he's one of the best point guards in the country. So, I mean, he brings things that, not many other guys can bring. How much of a competitor that he is. There's not many that you'll find like him. And then obviously, the way he can shoot, the way he can score. You saw it down the stretch against Kentucky. I mean, he was on a hobbled ankle, but yet he still scored some big time buckets for us. And when he's healthy all the way, I think defensively he can cause some havoc as well, get into the opposing point guard. So, I'm sure he'll do whatever he needs to be at 100% once we play. But right now we'll see what Doug has planned for him.
He is really competitive. I mean, how was he handling that, the uncertainty maybe, if you will, the past couple of days of treatment? What do you see?
I mean, he's obviously a little down, but I think we all know that he's going to do whatever he possibly can to give him a chance to get out there. And at the end of the day, that's what we hope for.
Thank you, Justin. Thank you, everybody.